Hi people, it's movie time. Let go. When Black Panther hit cinemas in 2018, it was a global phenomenon that mesmerized audiences. It was Marvel's first film with a predominantly black cast, their first superhero film with a black lead, and was hailed by many as revolutionary. From the costumes to the characters and names, for many black viewers in particular, it was a watershed moment of the first time they felt like they could see themselves on screen in a major Hollywood film. Discussions online centered around what African-inspired outfits people would wear to screenings. Viral social media posts showed children gleefully finding out their schools were taking them to see it. More like this. Our verdict on Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. The best films to watch in November. Why Asian superhero Shanghai could change the world. It also importantly defied the industry myth that suggested big-budget black films were not bankable internationally. The film broke global box office records, grossed over $1.03 billion worldwide, and made history by becoming the first Marvel movie to be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards while taking home 3 wins for Best Costume Design, Production Design, and Original Score. For entertainment writer Chanel Jenna, Black Panther felt like a giant cultural shift. The buzz it generated online was not like anything Jenna had seen before. It was just one of those moments where you had to be there. It was a positive and vibrant portrayal of black people on screen which some people had not seen before, she explains, adding that its positive representation was complemented by the film's level of artistry. The costumes, designs, and decor is not something you see every day. Showrunner and writer Mike Gaudio has worked on series including Beau's Insecure and Netflix's Ginny and Georgia, agrees that people were proud of the representation they were seeing, and says he himself saw Black Panther 4 times in the cinema, dressed in African-inspired garments each time, and that representation extended beyond the actors on screen to the film's soundtrack, which featured prominent and popular black artists, including Kendrick Lamar, Sean, and The Weeknd, and showed that the crew and director Ryan Coogler's finger was on the pulse for culture, says Jenna. Film critic Kathy Woods believes people were so excited because they were getting. We've never seen a film with both black and brown-led characters with this kind of a budget being made before. Kelly Carter. But what has happened in the 4 years since the last Friday? Its much-anticipated sequel Black Panther: Wakanda Forever was finally released, enjoying the biggest opening for a November film of all time in this, making $330 million globally at the weekend box office and earning extremely positive reviews once more. Following the tragic death of the original film's lead Chadwick Boseman, the sequel begins with the death of T'Challa, aka Black Panther himself, and is a very somber affair, depicting the Wakanda kingdom reeling in shock as his sister Princess Shuri and his mother Queen Ramonda struggle on without him. I think all of us walking into theaters to consume Wakanda Forever are aware that a draft of the film was written and then the star of this franchise tragically died before they could even film a scene, says Kelly Carter, senior entertainment reporter for SNES and Spake. Fitting film for the legions of fans around the world. She also points out how, on top of the film's returning cast of Wakandan heroes, the film's villain Namor, played by Mexican actor Tenoch Huerta, is being positively received by critics and audiences as well. We've never seen a film with both black and brown-led characters with this kind of a budget. For all the sadness that is connected to the making of Wakanda Forever, the fact it has made a similarly massive commercial and cultural impression as its predecessor is hugely cheering, but it also seems a good time to reflect on how Hollywood has changed or not when it comes to embracing black stories in the time that has elapsed between these two seismic films, changing the blockbuster landscape. One clear impact the success of the original Black Panther had is on the makeup of the Marvel Universe more generally, yet has it led to an uptick in major black-focused films for Carter? There have been some signs of progress on this front and a lot of individual ones since its release. This quarter, for example, we have seen Nigerian-American director Chinonye Chukwu's Till and Gina Prince Bythewood's The Woman King making waves, as well as Wakanda Forever, while next month the much-anticipated Whitney Houston biopic I Wanna Dance with Somebody, directed by Kazi Lemons, will hit screens. Written by Anthony McCartan, who penned mega-hit Queen biopic Bohemian Rhapsody. The latter is expected to be a big deal at the box office, as has been The Woman King, the historical epic about the all-female Agaja army in 19th century West Africa, starring Viola Davis, was released around the world in September and October, and considerably outperformed its predicted opening weekend gross. In thus, it has so far made nearly $100 million worldwide, began showing what an appetite there is out there for more black stories on the big screen. Recently, too, there have been two major black horror film successes of Jordan Peele. In the TV sphere, there has arguably been a positive shift in recent years, too. Last year, Amazon Studios' Harlem, about the lives and loves of four black girlfriends in New York, launched, and it will be returning for a second season soon, while Netflix's teen show On My Block wrapped up after a successful first-season run in October 2021. Most prominently, Black super producer Shonda Rhimes' Shonda Emperor has grown, with Netflix reportedly increasing her original $100 million deal last year and the release of her mega-hit Bridgerton changing the shape of period drama with its racially diverse casting. While we've had a history of showing our success in the television and film zeitgeist, there still seems to be a disconnect with the people at the top of the industry. Mike Gallo. When Insecure finished its 5-season run in 2021, it was hugely celebrated, with 14 Emmy nominations to its name, and it has secured Ray a further 5-year film and TV deal with Warner Bros. And HBO. The show, which centered on heroine Izzy clumsily navigating her 30s, stood out, like Atlanta as well, for exploring contemporary black life. It came at a time where we black audiences were looking for something that existed in the television zeitgeist that mirrored our own lives, says Gallo. We just weren't seeing something relatable on television, so we latched onto it. Insecure trended on Twitter. Abbott Elementary has been another big deal. A primetime mockumentary sitcom on the ABC network following teachers in an underfunded Philadelphia school. It premiered late last year and made huge waves with its first season, earning great viewing figures, near universal critical acclaim, and going on to land 7 Emmy nominations and 3 wins. Like other workplace sitcoms such as The Office and Parks and Recreation, its success has lain in the ordinariness of its situation, only this time, alongside its black creator Brunson, it has a predominantly black-led cast. When it comes to Abbott, people are just wanting to. But Carter points out that while progress has been made on the small screen since 2018, we were already seeing an uptick in black leads in television prior to Black Panther. See shows such as Rhymes, the hit political thriller Scandal of 2012-2018, featuring Kerry Washington as Fixer Olivia Pope, and sitcom Blackish, which premiered in 2014 and targeted a black viewership, but still was pulling in incredible numbers from a universal audience. The same applied to music industry drama Emperor 2015, which captured more than 17 million viewers in its first season. However, while these various successes have been what type of stories are being told? Aside from the question of whether we are seeing enough black stories, the nature of the stories being told continues to cause debate. In particular, critics have pointed out with increasing frequency the way in which film and TV can prioritize the platforming of narratives centered on black trauma, from police brutality and lynchings to slavery. The latter, in particular, remains a recurring topic in US film and TV. The latest high-profile film on the subject, set to be released in December, is Will Smith's Emancipation, about a man who escapes a Louisiana plantation. For Gallo, at times the slave narrative has been so overdone. The award-winning series featured some gruesome scenes of torture and brutality, but in contrast to those, there were also many scenes of gentleness and tenderness, exploring relationships such as those between a mother and daughter on the plantation. In general, there was less of a focus on slave owners and their cruelty, and much more on the enslaved people themselves and their stories. For Gallo, the series is fresh and an example of telling something in a different way and from a new perspective that we haven't seen before. There is certainly more room for improvement in getting fair and equal representation in Hollywood. Gallo says that while we black people had a history of being marketable and showing our success in the television and film zeitgeist, there still seems to be a disconnect with the people at the top who are making decisions to greenlight some of these things. A 2021 report by management consultancy firm McKinsey & Company revealed that fewer black-led stories get told, and when they have been underfunded and undervalued, despite often earning higher relative returns than other movies. Figures like Brunson and Coogler have Black Panther can only do so much. We have to have people who are actively working in Hollywood to be change agents, says Carter. This is something Gallo also agrees with. To an extent, people look at Black Panther as to why there's been a certain level of growth in the industry from people of color. He says, but as someone who works in Hollywood, he believes more diversity is needed amongst the decision makers who greenlight projects. The McKinsey & Company research also reveals that black professionals are severely underrepresented in executive decision-making roles throughout the industry. For Gallo, it's fantastic that films, what's more, black people are not monolithic. Emphasis is Gallo, and more stories from different black perspectives would be welcomed. Jenna would like to see a greater amount of everyday stories that reflect contemporary Black life and feature relatable, flawed characters alongside the narratives rooted in fantasy and make-believe, like Black Panther, while Woods would like to see more high-profile stories outside of the Black North American experience. About the Black experience in all different countries and continents, Carter simply wants more Black stories given the platform to resonate universally because we know the audience is there. As she Black Panther Wakanda Forever is out now. Go and watch, have a fun Wakanda Forever, press bell button for more content.